Hi, I'm Mr. Pipsley and I'm glad to see you all here on this channel. If you're interested in hearing a story about zombies and how they took over the world, then you're in for a treat. But before I begin, I want to encourage you to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. By doing so, you'll be able to stay up to date with all the latest content and never miss out on any exciting stories. So sit back, relax, and let's delve into the world of zombies. I promise it'll be a thrilling ride. In a world overrun by zombies, few dared to venture beyond the safety of their barricaded homes. But there were those who made a living out of catching the undead and selling them to factories for processing into all sorts of goods. One such hunter was named Jake, a rugged man with a steady hand and quick reflexes. His assistant, a young woman named Lily, was just as skilled, if not more so. Together, they made a formidable team that hunted down zombies across the forests, swamps, and utopias. Jake and Lily set out on their latest hunt, navigating through the dense forests of the north. They knew the area well, having hunted there many times before. Their goal was to capture as many zombies as possible and bring them back to the processing factory where they would be turned into ice cream, candies, cocktails, hot dogs, and hamburgers. The duo moved silently through the underbrush, their eyes scanning the surroundings for any sign of movement. Lily held a hand harpoon, a weapon that she was skilled at using, while Jake carried a set of snares and loops, which he used to trap zombies that tried to escape. As they walked deeper into the forest, they began to see signs of zombie activity. Mangled trees, trampled bushes, and claw marks on the ground all pointed to the presence of the undead. Jake and Lily knew that they were getting close. They soon came across a small clearing where they saw a group of zombies feasting on a deer carcass. Jake and Lily looked at each other and nodded in silent agreement. This was their chance. Jake pulled out his snares and began setting them up around the clearing, while Lily prepared her harpoon. As soon as they were ready, they sprang into action. Lily hurled her harpoon at one of the zombies, striking it in the chest and pinning it to the ground. The other zombies, sensing danger, began to run towards her, but Jake was ready. He pulled one of his loops and quickly threw it over one of the zombies, trapping it in place. The other zombies continued to charge towards Lily, but she was quick on her feet. She dodged their attacks and pulled out a second harpoon, taking down another zombie with a swift strike to the head. Jake continued to throw his loops, capturing more and more zombies as they ran towards them. Within minutes, the clearing was filled with the sounds of snarling zombies, struggling against the snares and loops that bound them. Jake and Lily worked quickly, throwing more snares and harpoons until they had captured every zombie in the area. As they collected their catch, Jake and Lily made their way back to the factory, where they would sell their zombies for processing. The factory was located on the outskirts of a strange city, where residents enjoyed the many zombie-based treats that were produced there. Jake and Lily arrived at the factory and were greeted by the owner, a jovial man named Mr. Smith. He inspected their catch and was impressed by the quality of the zombies they had captured. "These will make excellent hot dogs," he said, rubbing his hands together. "And maybe some ice cream too." Jake and Lily smiled at each other. They were glad to have made a good catch, and they knew that their efforts would help to feed the residents of the strange city. As they left the factory, Jake and Lily noticed that the sun was beginning to set. They decided to take a walk around the city to see what it was like. What they saw surprised them. The city was unlike any other they had seen before. The buildings were colorful and strange, with odd shapes and sizes that seemed to defy logic. The streets were filled with people, all of whom seemed to be smiling and laughing, despite the presence of the zombie-based treats that were being sold everywhere. Jake and Lily walked through the city, taking in the sights and sounds around them. They saw people eating ice cream that was shaped like zombie heads, and drinking cocktails that were colored like blood. They saw hot dogs that were filled with zombie meat and hamburgers that had zombie brains as a topping. At first, Jake and Lily were a little unnerved by what they saw. But as they walked through the city, they began to see that the residents were not afraid of zombies. In fact, they seemed to embrace them, using them as a source of food and entertainment. As the night wore on, Jake and Lily found themselves in a park, watching as people danced and sang around a large bonfire. They were approached by a group of young people who introduced themselves as residents of the city. "Hey there, hunters," one of them said, a young man with a friendly smile. "We saw you come in with your catch. You guys are awesome." Jake and Lily smiled back, feeling a sense of camaraderie with the people around them. "Thanks," Jake said. "We just do what we can to help out." The young people nodded in agreement, and then they offered Jake and Lily some ice cream. It was shaped like a zombie head, with cherry syrup for blood and gummy worms for intestines. It was delicious. As they ate, Jake and Lily talked with the residents, learning more about the city and its people. They found that many of the residents were artists and musicians who had come to the city to escape the horrors of the zombie apocalypse. They had created a community that celebrated life, even in the face of death. Jake and Lily felt inspired by what they saw. They had spent so much time hunting zombies, seeing them as nothing more than mindless monsters. But now they saw that there was more to them than that. They could be used for good, as a source of food and entertainment, and as a way to bring people together. As the night wore on, Jake and Lily said goodbye to the residents and made their way back to their camp. They had a new appreciation for the zombies they caught and for the strange city that had welcomed them with open arms. From that day forward, Jake and Lily continued to hunt zombies, but with a new sense of purpose. They saw themselves as more than just hunters, but as ambassadors for a new way of thinking about zombies. They brought their catch to the processing factory, knowing that it would be used to create delicious treats for the residents of the strange city. And in the end, they realized that catching zombies wasn't just about survival, but about finding a way to live in a world that had been changed forever. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and Jake and Lily continued their zombie catching efforts. But with their new perspective on the undead, they found themselves making connections they never thought possible. One day, while they were setting traps near a swamp, they stumbled upon a small group of zombies that were hiding in a pit. But as they approached, they realized that one of the zombies was not like the others. It was a young girl, no older than 10, who was crying in fear. Jake and Lily approached her slowly, trying not to startle her. "In there," Jake said softly. "We're not going to hurt you. Can you tell us your name?" The young girl sniffled and wiped her nose with a dirty sleeve. "And my name is Sarah," she said in a trembling voice. "Are you going to take me away?" Jake and Lily looked at each other, knowing that they couldn't just leave her there to be caught by someone less sympathetic. "No, we're not going to take you away," Lily said. "But we need to get you out of here. It's not safe for you." With that, they worked together to help the young girl out of the pit, using a loop to gently lift her out. She was scared and disoriented, but with Jake and Lily's help, she began to calm down. As they walked back to their camp with Sarah, they knew they couldn't just drop her off at the processing factory like they would with any other zombie. They needed to find a different way to help her. They talked with the residents of the strange city, hoping to find someone who would take Sarah in and care for her. It wasn't long before they found a couple who were willing to adopt her. They were a young artist couple who had lost their own child to the zombie apocalypse, and they saw something in Sarah that reminded them of their own daughter. Jake and Lily were overjoyed to see Sarah finally in a safe place, surrounded by people who cared for her. And they knew that this was what their work was all about, not just catching zombies, but helping people find hope in a world that had been shattered. As they made their way back to the processing factory, Jake and Lily felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished. They had caught countless zombies over the months, but none of those captures felt as important as the one they had just made. And when they arrived at the factory, they saw that the workers there had created a new treat in honor of Sarah. It was a strawberry-flavored ice cream, shaped like a heart, with gummy bears and sprinkles on top. It was a symbol of the hope that Jake and Lily had helped to create in the city, and a reminder of the power of compassion in a world that had been consumed by chaos. As they drove back to their camp that night, Jake and Lily knew that their work was not done. There were still more zombies to catch and more people to help. But they also knew that they were not alone in their efforts, that there were others who believed in the power of hope and kindness. And with that, they looked forward to the future, knowing that they would continue to make a difference, one zombie at a time. Over time, Jake and Lily continued to catch zombies, but they began to do things a little differently. They started to take a more personal approach, getting to know the zombies they captured and trying to find ways to help them. They started to notice patterns among the zombies. Some seemed to be more aggressive than others, while some seemed almost docile. They began to wonder if there was a way to rehabilitate the zombies, to help them become something more than mindless monsters. They talked to the scientists in the strange city, hoping to find some answers. And to their surprise, the scientists had been working on a cure for the zombie virus all along. It was a risky procedure, and not everyone would survive. But for those who did, the results were remarkable. The zombies were transformed back into their human selves, with all of their memories and personalities intact. Jake and Lily were amazed by the transformation. They had never thought it was possible to bring someone back from the brink of death, but here they were, watching people come back to life right before their eyes. The scientists in the strange city began to roll out the cure on a larger scale, and soon, the city was teeming with people who had once been zombies. It was a new beginning for everyone, and Jake and Lily were proud to have played a small part in it. But as they looked out at the city, they realized that there was still work to be done. There were still people out there who needed help, and they were determined to do everything in their power to make a difference. And so they set out once again, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They caught zombies with their hand harpoons and snares, setting traps and hunting in the forest, swamps, and utopias. They found zombies hiding in pits, barrels, boxes, and puddles, but they also found people who needed their help. They took the cured zombies with them, helping them reintegrate into society and find their place in the new world. And as they traveled, they met new people who joined their cause, each one bringing something unique to the table. In time, the strange city grew and flourished, with Jake and Lily at the forefront of a new movement. They had started as zombie catchers, but they had become so much more. They were pioneers, explorers, and above all, champions of hope. And as they looked out at the city they had helped to create, they knew that they had done something truly remarkable. They had turned a world of darkness into one filled with light, and they had done it all with nothing but their wits, their courage, and their boundless compassion. It was a cheerful ending to a story that had started with so much darkness and despair. But that was the power of hope. It could turn even the darkest of situations into something bright and beautiful. And so Jake and Lily continued to work, catching zombies and helping people in need. They knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, but they were ready for anything. For in a world that was still healing from the wounds of the past, they were a beacon of hope, shining brightly and showing everyone that anything was possible. Well, the story has come to an end. I am sure you like this story and you will like it with pleasure. Also subscribe to our channel and be sure to leave your feedback in the comments under this video. See you in the next video.